1. I'll give you your 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Fit Society Better Together podcast. I am Corey. I'm here with MJ and Cassidy. Gentlemen, how are we?
Hello, hello.
Well, Corey, thank you for asking. How are you,
didn't
sir?
Even say how you were.
How are you, sir? I said, well, sir. How are you?
I was talking about Cassidy. You just said hello.
Forget him.
Tell me how you're doing, Cassidy. I'm genuinely, I want to know.
I'm okay,
Okay.
A little tired, but
okay. Well, wake your ass up, okay?
Yeah, buddy.
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking me. I have a giant thing of coffee. I mean, look at this thing. It's huge. Big as my head.
Hey, life hack. Corey, I do too.
All right.
Here's a hey, Corey, life hack for the viewers, listeners. Go and get yourself a 4 espresso shot in ice, and then take your RTD protein and pour on top. That's what I got here.
It's too sweet for me, dude. I like my coffee bitter.
All right, whatever.
I can't do the sweet coffee.
Yeah, I get it.
So if you're a little sissy and you like sugar, that's your life hack. If you're a grown-ass man or woman, then drink it black.
We're not one to judge, but Corey is, in fact, wearing a skirt underneath that desk, for sure.
It's a kilt.
We don't judge. It's cool.
And it's homage to my heritage.
No condemnation, sir.
No judge. We're culturally appropriate on this podcast.
Hey, but it's better than, I guarantee it's better than
whatever.
What, hey, dude, I guarantee it's better than what Cassidy is wearing, which is nothing. I guarantee it.
Yes, it's true.
Wait a second.
Wait. Dude,
Okay,
we have kids. We have kids.
Not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
We're getting into the topics. If people don't leave, they probably already shut it off.
Let's do it.
Okay. Be wary that there is a slight delay. So just be careful in talking over each other. Give it a second pause. So if you're listening, that's what that is. All right. Topic of the day: programming, fitness programming, like working out programming, how to choose fitness or performance. So one more time, topic of the day is programming, how to choose fitness or performance. Obviously, we're going to go into our 3-2-1 format, which is 3 thoughts, 2 myths, 1 question, and action, a go. 3, 2, 1, go. And we will go ahead and kick it off with our thoughts. So, MJ, why don't you lead us with the thoughts? No pressure.
See, nervous. Never. This is the first time I ever talked about this. No. So a little context. So this podcast is this particular podcast is a pretty member-centered podcast. But I think there's some value to be gained if you're not a member of Fit Society with your general selection of the programming that you choose. So that's good that it will cross-pollinate to both audiences. But inside of Fit Society, fitness and performance didn't just come out of thin air. The evolution of it was when we first started, we had more of a fitness only type program that we called HIFUN, HIFUN, which was short for high intensity functional training. So it was cardio and weights combined, more intuitive movements on a circuit level, moderate to high intensity, not too much of an emphasis on singular high percentage lifts, et cetera. And we found a hole in our game because of that, understanding the benefit of that. So then we added another class separate from that. So not in the same class, but separate from that, called Metcon. And then which was a form of metabolic conditioning training where you did a strength component and then went to some sort of Metcon or more of an anaerobic energy system type finisher. And then that turned into a strength and conditioning class, et cetera. And then long story short, after a couple of years of having HIFUN and strength and conditioning and hearing all the you shoulds, which was like, you should have more HIFUN classes and you should have more strength and conditioning classes. We were like, you know what? We're innovating and we're going to give everybody what they want in one, and we're going to call it fitness and performance. So where we landed today, if you walk into our gym and you experience one of our WODs or workouts of the day with fitness and performance, you're experiencing old school HIFUN and strength and conditioning. That's another way to look at fitness and performance. So that's kind of an intro to what those classes are, first of all, right? Like, so fitness is more more intuitive, less complex movements, not as technical, but very, very beneficial with healthy exposure to resistance training and cardiorespiratory endurance training. And performance, just for the audience, does have for sure most of the time a strength bias with some sort of supplemental cardio finisher. That being said, the answer or my thought on which one you should do and why is two parts. Number one is firstly is what's your goal? Because the determination of the selection of fitness and performance should be very goal centered with what you're trying to accomplish, which we'll get into in a minute. And then number two, a little different approach would be what do you like? Because whatever you like doing, we tend to want to do. And in fitness, I would argue that to live a healthy lifestyle of working out most days of the week plus, you got to like to do it and enjoy yourself in doing it. So consistency variable oftentimes can, will, and should supersede the variable of what would be the exact programming that would serve me best for my goal. So for me, it's a balance between the two. And that's how I guide a member in the selection of it. I go, hey, man, based off your goal, this is what I see you doing with your background from where you're at and where you want to be. But what I really want to see is I want to see whatever you choose. I want to see you doing it consistently over time, because that's where you get the results, because results are paid out in dividends over time in a compounded interest effect. So it's those two variables that I'm very mindful with in my guidance of members. And then I would encourage members to be aware of and mindful of themselves in selecting their choice.
I definitely agree. Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
Cool. Yeah, my thought, it's kind of a two-part thought here, but the first thought would be more of some advice that I would give our members, which would be, are you eating a banana right now, bro?
I am. Nanner. Am I allowed?
You got to get in your potassium, bro.
Are we allowed to eat bananas on our podcast, guys?
I don't know. We can do whatever we want, man.
Yes, we can. Whatever.
All right. Derailment. Sorry, I just saw it. I had to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. One more time. If you're a member, I would strongly encourage you to key in more than normal or more than what you have been doing to when the coach is breaking down the workout. Because at the end of this podcast, we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to decide where you should go. And if you are in the habit of, I usually do performance or I usually do fitness, and as soon as the coach talks about the other workout, I'm tuning out. And now it's me hanging out with my friends or me talking about whatever. Or I'm just thinking about where I'm going to set up. You're going to miss out on some big nuggets that we're breaking down as coaches that would then lead you into which workout you're doing and how to perform that workout for the most maximal benefit for you. Right. So as a coach, I'm sitting up there and I'm going to try to distill down all of the information that I possibly can that I've learned over years of doing this to a couple nuggets to cue you in on which one you should do and how you should do it and what it should feel like. So that way you're getting your best results out of doing that workout. So I think I'm actually just going to keep it to that one thought because I think it's important enough to stand alone.
I think that is so good, Corey. And the words that come to mind are informed decision.
Yes.
Like the end result of what you just said so perfectly is, as a member, you should show up and listen and receive that our whiteboard talk, right? With the goal of making an informed decision on your choice for the day. Great point, Corey.
Yep. Thank you.
I think the other thing too is that, and this are my thoughts is that look at it's why we post the workouts on SugarWOD and on the website. So take a look before you go to the gym and kind of look at it, see what you're going to be interested in that day. So that's one thing that I think I got in the habit of early on. And, there'd be days I got super excited because of, wow, we're going to be doing this at the gym, deadlifting. And I'm like, yes, I want to do that, So I would go and do performance that day. And then there'd be other days that I would see performance as something that, I didn't really want to do that day. So fitness looked good. And I would jump into the fitness workout that day. So, I think looking at the workouts prior to going into the gym, not only does it prepare you for which one you're going to do, it kind of mentally prepares you for what you're going to get into, and so that's it. And then the other thing I was going to say is that transferring back and forth to each one, there's no problem with that. You can do performance 3 days a week and do, fitness 2 days a week, and even within the same workout, a lot of times there are workouts where you can, kind of mix them together, and do them that way as well. So, even though that workout is up there as written and prescribed, you can change it up as much as you need or want to. And of course, asking a coach to help you with that. If there's something that you just don't feel comfortable with, or you just don't want to do, go and ask the coach. Hey, I struggle with these back squats or front squats. Do you mind? Is it okay if I do back squats during the same time? Or, I really struggle with using a barbell because it hurts my shoulders when I bench press. Is it okay if I use dumbbells? Whatever it is, there are so many different ways that we can reprogram and give you another idea that will fit into it and still get the same results that the prescribed workout has intended for you.
Yeah, Cass, on your point, just because that's a really valuable point. You said the word, could I do this as a member? Asking coach. What I would encourage and would double down on that is use the word should instead of would, or I'm sorry, should instead of could. Meaning, if I'm a member, to your point, the workout of the day is a template, right? That's how we prescribe it. We prescribe it as a template on a GPP level, which is general physical preparedness. It's a template. It's a shell to work off. It's a guide. It's a North Star. But the goal is that we individualize those workouts person by person for whatever goals they have. So as a member, just an encouraging statement to members based off what you said is go to a coach. And if you have something in your mind, use the should word based off of your goals. Hey, coach, my goal is XYZ. What should I do with blank? Because I have elbow, shoulder, overhead, whatever. And a coach's responsibility, at least in our organization, we put a lot of effort into this and a lot of attention into this of putting tools in our tool belt to be able to prescribe accordingly to modify with both scales of regression and progression to make sure you get the workout that you need within that GPP group workout. So it's a great point, Cass, and like communicating, asking, do both, maybe part A of fitness, part B of performance. There are no rules. The only rule is
Right.
you understand what your goal is, and you attach the right medicine for that goal. And like I said earlier, you have fun doing it and you want to do it, so you do it more often so you can get the results that you want. Great point.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, jump into our 2 myths here.
Yeah.
All right. Myth number 1. This is me as a member speaking. I should only do fitness / performance, whatever you normally choose, because I stand no benefit of doing the other one. Okay, so this is me being a member, and we'll just say maybe I only do performance, or that's what I come into the gym. I'm a performancer. I stand zero benefit to do fitness. I don't know why I would ever do that. That's a myth. Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cass.
No, you go for it, man.
All right, it's mine. Get out of here. The thing that came to mind when you said I should do this or that, Cass, or Corey, the thing I hear a lot from members, or I think members have a preconceived notion of fitness being easy and performance being hard. And I use those 2 words because those are the words that I hear. Okay. And to your point on the myth, that's the overall myth within that myth is that is some sort of innuendo or notion that stands true. It's just not true, because the reality is whether you choose fitness or performance, the workout that's going to hurt the most or be the hardest is the workout that you push against the most, because workouts push back as hard as you push against them, right? Like Like we can have an assault bike and a workout for
Totally.
60 seconds, and that could be the easiest 60 seconds of your life or the worst 60 seconds of your life. And that 60-second assault bike is programmed to both fitness and performance. So, first things first within that, like we need to debunk the fact of like, I should only do fitness because I'm not ready for performance because it's too hard. Or I should only be doing performance because it's hard enough and I'm so good and I'm so advanced and I'm beyond that. And if I do fitness, it's too easy. You're just simply not seeing it correctly. Right. So the reality is this myth of I should only do one because that's what I'm only capable of or should do. That's the part that we're trying to debunk. We can say to you, if you tend to like less complex, more intuitive type movements that are done more in a circuit type fashion, and you like that, you enjoy it, and you can push and get your desired stimulus and response from your workouts and have it on a custom stimulus, you can stay in fitness and do that more than performance. There's no reason for it, but be intentional with it, right? Conversely, if you're somebody that really likes picking up and putting down heavy shit under percentages, and that's maybe in 7 to 8 of every 10 performance workouts, you can do that, but don't be so ignorant. And remember, ignorance is a lack of knowledge, not a lack of intelligence, but don't be so ignorant to think that based off your goal, there's nothing to be served by going and serving a different master for that day in a different capacity, especially if you're the guy or the gal that thinks you're performance and that's what I do because I'm performance. Open your eyes and your ears to what you're doing and why you're doing it, and go look for those. If you're the person that likes to be in the fetal position when you're done freaking working out, you can accommodate that a lot better and more efficient in a fitness workout sometimes the way it's programmed that you can perform it. So my thought on that is lives in that space. One's not easier and one's not harder, like period. And based off your goal, I guarantee you it's not if, it's when that workouts will pop out throughout a 7-day period that you should probably be doing the other one versus the one you're doing. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Totally.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Totally so I'll piggyback off your because you said goal there based on your goal. And I think that's the biggest key in point for members listening right now is what is your goal? And one of the most common abusers, quote unquote, I would see of breaking this following your goal rule in regards to picking a workout is there's two kind of main avatars that I'm thinking of in my head. Number one would be the performancer that is in the gym for aesthetics. They want to perform well, but underlying main goal is they want to look good. They want to look jacked or shredded or whatever the case may be. And I'll break down a workout real quick example. Like maybe for performance, it's an EMOM for 12 minutes of building to a heavy 1 rep for the day front squat. And then it's a workout with power snatches and burpees over the barbell, right? So kind of formulate that in your head. You're going to do 10 heavy front squats, and then you're going to do some light to moderate power snatches and burpees. And because they're a performancer, they're going to lean towards going to that. Where if they just look to the other side, which is fitness, it's like interval style, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And it's a push-pull split with bent over rows and bench press. And then it's got bicep curls and tricep kickbacks and then a core finisher. Like, so you pick performance and you're moving a couple heavy loads for a few reps and then light loads the rest of the time, when you could have just been getting in a ton of super good functional bodybuilding work, hypertrophy, that has compound movements. And yes, that totally lends towards your aesthetics and what you want to look like. So that's one. The second version of that would be the person that's going into fitness. That's like, I want to quote unquote lose weight or get toned, and they're choosing fitness. And for fitness for the day, it's like a bunch of cardio intervals. And performance is the opposite of that. It's like 4x8 back squats with pull-ups in between or something like that. Like you're going to want to add on some muscle, like add some load to that. Running in circles isn't necessarily going to always get you what you want. That's not going to get you the toned look.
Yep.
Those are my two. So focus on your goal, figure out, and we'll give you advice on which one to choose based on your goal.
Yeah. And before Cassidy goes, I think it's important, Corey, because this is what we do. This is our language. This is very intuitive for us, but I guarantee there's people that are listening and just heard those examples and go, I don't know which one to choose. I guarantee it, right? Even with you going through and walking through it like that. So I guess before Cassidy goes, I want to say, hey, from here, so we don't miss it, is I go back to, this is a template, and a coach is going to make has an organized effort to explain the intentionality behind the workouts and who should do what and why. That's what we do at the beginning of every workout. Hey, members, if that's not clear to you, okay, and you're not sure, I go back to what I said earlier. Hey, here's my goal, coach. Which one should I do? What do you think and why? I just want to encourage our community to use us as a resource in that, and we'll do that thinking for you. And help you learn and grow in that capacity so you can make more informed decisions. But very good point, Corey. Go ahead, Cass.
Yeah, I was going to just add on to that. Whereas there's two things I was going to say. One is, and MJ, you told me this a hell of a long time ago when I first started. You said, leave your ego at the door, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean I got to leave my ego at the door? And it's like, again, because if it was a day that, was back squats, I would just go full on in back squats because that's my jam, and there would be days where, we would have something else and I would be like, I'm going to just go do back squats again, and because I didn't like that other thing. Well, you know what? Once I did leave my ego at the door and say, okay, I'm actually going to go do what's programmed and I'm going to work my butt off on this. I'm going to do a bunch of handstand push-ups or things I just suck at,
Yeah.
It humbled the crap out of me. And boy, did it teach me a lot. But I'll tell you, I became more well-rounded on the things that we do. And then conversely to that is that if you're a fitnesser, and you think that your comfort zone, don't be afraid to go, hey, I want to learn how to do a clean and jerk better. I've never done one before. Don't be afraid to grab a coach or even grab another member, because that's something too with our community, which is very helpful, is that, if there's a member that you're looking at and you're like, man, that person's really good at it. I guarantee you 100% of our members be like, great. Let me walk you through it, or let me help you with it. If a coach is too busy or something's going on. So, again, leave your ego at the door. If you're a performancer or if you're a fitnesser, don't be afraid to step out of that comfort zone and try things that you've never done before. Those are, I think, just two things that I think are helpful for folks.
Yeah, that second point.
Yeah, totally.
So good. The second point of because we got to ask ourselves, why would somebody identify with one or the other? And typically, why is from a state of comfortability, from a state of I know that, from a state of I'm good at that. Like the reason why you want to do back squats, bro, is because you can back squat over 400 pounds. That's why you want back squats. And the reason why you don't want to freaking go upside down overhead on your handstands is because you'll fall on your face, right? So we have a tendency to do what we're good at.
Right. It's true.
To lean towards comfortability. So you bring up a great point, which is, at least inside our four walls, guys, don't make a choice on fitness or performance based off of a fear of a paper tiger out there that doesn't exist. We're here for you. Members are here for you. If you want to try something, we can do our jobs as coaches and scale and modify appropriately. And we will do that. And we like doing that. All we need from you, member, is for you to go for example, I'm a fitnesser. I might want to do that someday. How do I do that? Where do I start? And we as a staff and as a coaching staff just need to come with me, right? Or vice versa. I'm Mr. So-and-so with ego. Hey, I haven't really been progressing on a performance level. Where do I start? What do I do?
Tone it down.
Hey, come with me, right? So very good point, Cass.
Totally. Yeah, I
Love
agree.
it.
Corey, second.
Cool. All right. So second myth. Yep. Second myth. This one's a little interesting. It's our podcast, so we get to do whatever we want. So there's actually going to be 3 myths within this second myth. So we're just going to go very rapid fire round robin. 3 bro science statements you have heard in the gym that are wrong. Okay. So something like when you walk through like a typical Gold's gym or even through our gym at time, you're going to hear like the bro say this, and it's buffoonery. Okay. So I'll kick it off. Mine is squats are bad for your knees. Okay. So you've probably heard this a million times. Squats are inherently not good or bad for your knees. They can be extremely good for your knees. They can be extremely bad for your knees. And the way you can kind of ask yourself of how to figure this out is, number one, do you have an ego problem, right? Are we like squatting way more than we should be squatting for the sheer sake of putting on more plates so you can have like 3 blues on each side of the barbell, and then you're doing it terribly? That is going to be bad for your knees. Yes, you're probably going to have a knee injury. And guess what? It's not from squatting. It's from your ego. Your ego broke your knee, bro. That's what happened. And it could also be something else. It could be you have a range of motion issue, right? It could be that you need to front squat instead of back squat because your hips are super tight. But inherently, squats are not bad for your knees. It is all about proper coaching. A coach that is coaching them improper can get your knees hurt. You as a person can get your knees hurt by doing them improperly. If you don't figure out the issue of what is hurting them when you are squatting, they could get hurt. But inherently, squats are not bad for your knees. They're not good for your knees. They're an excellent exercise. We should all be doing them in some shape or form. And if you're not sure how to get yourself there without your knees getting hurt, ask one of our coaches and we can definitely help you out with that.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think just
second myth, MJ.
Corey, on that point, because on that point, and I know we're slimming down, but there's about 100 different, this movement is bad for me, right? Like my back hurts, so therefore I don't do deadlifts. My knees hurt, so therefore I don't do squats. My shoulder hurts, so therefore I don't press or whatever. And I think the major takeaway here is movements are not the problem. You're going to do those movements anyways. Our body works in 3 planes: frontal, sagittal, and transverse. It pushes, it pulls, it squats, it cores, it lunges. That's what it, and hinges. That's it. That's all it does. Those are our primal patterns. The difference is do you know how to do it correctly? Do you know how to do it with the proper load? Do you know how to do it with the proper scales and progressions and regressions? And that's what Corey's saying. So there is not one movement, not one, that you quote shouldn't do. There are movements that you should be responsible with, have a plan with scaling to suit your pre-existing condition if you have one, and we can help with that. Second myth was what?
Second myth.
Neuroscience.
Weights will make me bulky. This is you, MJ.
Yeah, so I think I want to speak to the ladies mostly on this because most guys, I think most, except for Corey, obviously, for reasons undisclosed, want to get big and bulky. But ladies are the ones that we hear from this.
I want to be a tiny human being.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. But the ladies are the ones that have this preconceived notion that if I lift weights, I'm going to get big and bulky. And the reality is there's only one way you can do that. And it really doesn't have anything with to do with the working out and the program you choose with lifting weights so much as it has to do with your shovel to mouth ratio with respect to the nutrition that you're eating. Okay. i.e. if you are in a caloric surplus, ladies, okay, hypothetical situation, here's your maintenance calorie level to be the size that you are right now. If you consume a caloric surplus above that, and you hit your RDA and protein of about 1 gram per pound of body weight per day, and you're pounding weights, and you do that consistently over time, you're going to become a human being that's bigger and bulkier, for sure. So if you want to do that, ladies and or guys, incidentally enough, that's how you do it. It's not gender specific. That's how you get big and bulky. You eat in a surplus, you hit protein RDAs, you break that. For those of you that can't see the video of this, Corey's taking notes right now on how to get big and bulky. But anyways, I think that's hilarious. ladies, listen, ladies, don't sweat it. We encourage you, if you want to lose weight, gals and guys, which is 90% of the population inside of our gym, and I guarantee of the listeners, be in a deficit and pound as many weights as you can. And I would encourage, I don't want to go down a rabbit trail here. We touched it on one of our previous podcasts. Not only would I encourage resistance training, I would encourage you to prioritize your resistance training and your strength training, regardless if you're a fitnesser or a performancer, because that is the ticket to increase and preserve the amount of lean muscle tissue that you have, that in turn burn more calories over time, that gets you to where you want to be. And we can't overemphasize that enough. So not only am I debunking the myth of lifting weights gets you big and bulky, what I'm saying is, if you want to lose weight, I'm doubling down and saying, if you want to lose weight, get in a deficit and prioritize your weight training, because that's going to be the ticket to get you there sooner, be stronger in doing it, and look better in doing it. That's all I got.
I'm also going to caveat here as well, because you touched it, but I want to emphasize it again. If you're a woman and you want to bulk, that is fucking awesome. Yeah. Like if you're sitting there as a woman and you're like, I want to tone. Okay, take some time, bulk, pack on some freaking muscle, and then go back to your maintenance calories. And you're going to be like, holy shit, why did I not do this before? So just doubling down on that as well. Bulking
That's just
for women
Corey
is
saying he likes
important.
Really athletic frames on a woman. That's what he's saying.
And dudes.
And
I love Jack.
We know
dudes.
that. We know that. We know that.
I hate mullets though. Hate mullets.
Jesus.
God.
Myth number 3. Corey has better hair than MJ. Myth.
False, dude. Don't make me grow out my hair again.
I know.
All right. Myth number 3. Same body part 2 days in a row. Wow, that was poorly said because I went rapid fire.
So
myth number 3 is that you should not work out the same body part 2 days in a row.
Right. So I'll take that one. This is a myth that I hear quite a bit, and it's kind of one of those, comes from the days of the Globo gyms and that kind of stuff of, I'm doing back and chest today, and then tomorrow I'm doing legs, and I'm doing bis and tris, and then I'm taking my rest day, then I do it all over again. Well, again, that works, for some people and the goals they want, but for an overall person like us that use our facility, there's going to be days that things are programmed where you do squats one day, and then possibly the next day we have walking lunges. That's okay. Yeah, you're going to be sore, and that's a good thing. But there's nothing wrong with having more than one day in a row of the same body part where that's the emphasis. Again, do your nutrition very, very well. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. Take rest when you need it, but there's no harm in doing the same body part over and over again during a week. Mm-hmm. So again, this is one of the myths again that we hear a lot from kind of the bro code thing is, I gotta, if I really bust my butt on bench, I can't do anything else with my chest for the next 3 days. I gotta let it grow, but obviously that didn't work for me. So
And I think to wrap that up, the genesis of that thought comes from, I think, for most, an overtraining principle. I believe, right. I'm making an assumption there, but I would assume that most people say that in the spirit of saying, I don't want to overtrain a body part. And the people that say that just don't understand what overtraining is. They really don't understand the level that you have to go in a training session, or training sessions to overtrain. Okay. So to your point, we use our legs every day. We use our arms every day. Like, we're going to do that every day. We'll be responsible and we'll rotate through, because you need to break down lean mass, let it rebuild and regenerate, give it adequate rest and recovery. But the reality is, for one bout of exercise with responsible programming in a GPP model, you could do a leg workout hypothetically 5 out of 7 days. No problem. You different planes of motion, different movements, different movement patterns, you're good. And we program that way. So,
Yeah.
so I think overtraining is where that comes from. For 99.9% of the population, it's just a concern that is not of yours. So that's our 3 growth science, rapid fire myths. Where do we go from here with a question to ask ourselves, CB?
Yep. Here's the question we came up with for you guys. So the question to ask yourself would be, what is my goal and what workout should I choose in regards to fitness or performance? So that's something you need to ask yourself. Spend some time there. Think about what your goal actually is. Be honest with yourself. Because if you are honest with yourself, there's probably going to be a lot of you that are now going to start swapping back and forth. A lot of you that just did fitness only or just did performance only, if you honestly ask yourself this question, take what we've talked about today and then apply that when you go into the gym, you're going to be swapping back and forth.
Yeah, I think you leave it at that. Leave it at that and go to our go.
Okay, so our go is pretty much what I just said. Let's get it ahead. So this week, when you go to the gym, be intentional and mindful when you're listening to the daily workout in regards to your goal, right? So this is what we were talking about earlier, what I mentioned earlier. Cue into that coach, listen to what they're saying, what it should feel like, who it is for. And if you are confused, like both of you have brought up, literally walk up to your coach, say, hey, this is my goal, aesthetics, performance, weight loss, etc. Whatever your goal is, where do you think I should lean today? Performance, fitness. But if you have to be intentional and mindful, so you have to ask yourself that question of what is your goal, and you have to actually be paying attention. You can't just be chatting it up with your buddy and then randomly guess and be like, what are you doing today? Oh, performance. Okay, me too.
Yeah, I'll take it a step further. Or Cassidy will.
Go ahead.
Well, the thing when you're talking about goals and process, last week's conversation was all about VOPA, which is an entire system built around making sure that you as a member have very clear goals and objectives, have a reason why it's important to you, have a process in place to make it happen, and an accountability system to get it done. The thing that comes to mind with what you just said, Corey, is this. If I'm a member and I'm listening to this, I look at my VOPA, right? And I ask myself, based off those goals that I accomplished, does my process, including the selection of workout when I come in, align with the objectives that I have? So an actionable thing is to build off of your VOPA, like build your VOPA. I'm a member, have a VOPA, have a system that's going to help you accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish for the reasons you want to accomplish it. And what we're talking about here is P. We're talking about the P, the process. Like, should I be fitness? Should I be performance? How much, when, reps, weights, sets, how often? You know, my frequency, which is how often, my intensity, which is how hard, my time, which is how long, and then my type, which is what kind. So FITT, fit principle for you. Like, that's all process stuff. And that's where programming lives. So an action thing moving forward is this may spur you into, to Corey's point, like this next week, when you're going through being mindful and intentional of your workout selection, ask yourself, where does this fit in my VOPA? Where is this in my process to accomplish why the hell I even signed up for this place in the first place?
Yeah. And nice part about mine is it's the nice part about mine is it's built in. So I have really small biceps. So I just look at my biceps and then I look at the workout and I look for which one has biceps in it. If it doesn't, I go to the mirror and I do biceps.
Dude, this is
and eventually they'll grow. I mean, they have to eventually.
This is why we went.
If they don't, I'm just going to have to start doing drugs.
To 2 listeners, 3 listeners to 2 listeners because of comments like that.
It's just the truth, man.
And I'll do my last comment is, you know, I was going to tie it into the VOPA as well. And Jay is, you know, when you have your vision and you're making your plan, you know, again, we post the workouts, and that's, you know, there's a reason for that. So take the time and pop on your phone or get on your computer and check out what that workout is today. So that just gets you the mindset of what you're going to be walking into, and hopefully it fits what your vision is for that day. So that's just the only thought I was going to say is add that to your kind of your daily routine.
Love it.
Good.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks for listening, guys. Send any thoughts you have to youshould@fitstuddyaz.com. Come let us know in the gym, or we're just going to keep talking about shit that we want to talk about.
Go
How it
take it.
works. All right. Love you long time, guys. Thanks.
All right, gentlemen.
See you next week.
Adios.
Rock and roll, guys. Man.